Woodward Sports Network presents a sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go. Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my brother?
You.
Hey, I was riding in the car, man, on the way here to work to see you guys, to do a show with the lovely Flannel Sam, as well as Alex Maz and my boy Ryan Ermanni. And a song came on the radio.
What song was that?
Been listening to a lot of talk radio, but I said, you know what? I'm tired of hot air. Okay, I'm tired of hot air. I just want to hear some music. It's from right in, nice and smooth. Do you guys have a song that every time you hear it, it just immediately lights your day up?
Yes.
What is your song? Or it could be a couple, but which one?
Well, there's a couple. First thing that comes to mind is the great song from Toto, Africa.
Oh, man, great.
Bless the rains down in Africa. There it is,
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
Come on now.
Maz, how about you, buddy?
Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Don't
That's another
stop.
That is
REO Speedwagon.
Oh, yeah.
I won't sing
And
anymore.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
So
Loved
good.
by Glenn
What movie was it?
Campbell.
How High? I think they did a spoof on that with John Lovitz. Mine came on the radio. It was Bill Withers. Lovely day, man. When I wake up
yeah.
in the morning
Lovely
and
day.
the sun shines
Lovely
on my...
day.
I mean, I got that in
lovely
my
day.
library.
Lovely
I got
day.
that in my playlist.
It just gives you such good vibes, man. Rest in peace, Bill Withers. He did pass away in 2020 due to COVID, but just amazing artist, and it made me feel so good, and I had energy. It was positive, and I'm here to bring it to you guys, man. So let's rock and roll today,
Wait
baby.
a minute. I don't want to get fined for this.
Oh, there it is. You see that?
It's in my playlist, baby.
Instantaneously, you see the smile on your face?
That's on my playlist,
There
baby.
it is, man. There it is. So, feeling good, trying to spread the love.
Guys, big show today. We're going to have Scott Bischoff. I almost said Eric Bischoff.
I tweeted at him. Let me see if he tweeted back. Trying to get him on the show.
Right, Scott Bischoff, NFL draft guru, going to join us for the entire hour coming up. Hour number 2 from 3 to 4. We'll have him on with us. And we will, at that point as well, take calls. If you've got questions for Scott Bischoff, we're going to take calls on the air. That would mean, I guess we got to get him some headphones, too.
We'll get him hooked up.
He can hear what some of the callers are asking. But anything you have, one day away from the NFL draft now, Bray, and I'll tell you, man, it's I'll be happy, and we said this a little bit yesterday, I'll be happy when it's over, but there is so much going on now, so many moving parts here with 30 hours to go, essentially, from the time the first pick is called tomorrow night.
A lot of moving parts. I think you see now the time is getting close. Like you said, 30 hours or just a little bit over to the draft. Now guys are like, all right, now all the BS out the room, man. Now we cancel all the speculation, the 1 through 5, who's on our board. Now we got to lock in and hone in. Who's our guy, fellas? Who are we going after? I think you're starting to see the Jaguars. Jaguars no longer talking about certain people. They're only talking about Trayvon Walker or Ikem Ekwonu right now. It's because they want to get a guy with a high ceiling, and that is what you see in Trayvon Walker. Saw glimpses of it in the Michigan game, saw glimpses of it in the Alabama game in the national championship, but he has the potential to be great. And that's what you're doing. It's a crapshoot, but guys are trying to narrow it down and get tight and lock in on who they believe they should take.
You know, and I know we've talked so much about what the Lions do at number 2 tomorrow. Is there a pick in this draft that you feel is kind of the pivotal point in this draft? Because to me, I point to 6 with Carolina. What they do kind of determines, I think, what happens with the rest of the draft, because they could trade out of that pick. They could take the quarterback there. They could take an offensive lineman there and throw everything up for grabs. I really point to Carolina tomorrow night at 6 as a pivotal point in this draft. But then you look at 1 through 5, Bray, and I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen with those either.
Yeah. No, I think, to be honest, I'll do you one better. I think the pivotal part in this draft is what happens at 2. I think it's the Detroit Lions. I think because from the standpoint of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're pretty much going to take an offensive lineman, or they're taking Trayvon Walker. I'm pretty much set on that. But the Detroit Lions open up a lot of floodgates. If they take Malik Willis at 2. Now you got Aiden Hutchinson floating around in that 3 to 5 spot. What happens with him? If they take, you talk about taking Kayvon Thibodeau. He's now moved up. Some people have him out of the top 10. If he moves up, the Detroit Lions take him at 2. Now what do you do if you're sitting there at 3? You got Aiden Hutchinson. You got Kayvon Thibodeau. You have Jermaine Cross. There's so many questions, but I think the pivotal moment, because we know that not the Carolina Panthers, we know that the Jaguars aren't taking a quarterback. So that's why I think the pivotal moment is that pick. I think it's the Detroit Lions. What do they do? Maybe they trade out of the pick. I know we've heard say nobody wants to pick. We don't know. I think that's the pivotal part.
Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up, fellas? I believe the Steelers are going to move from 20 and get their quarterback. And I'll tell you, it would not shock me if they jump all the way up to number 7. The Giants have 2 picks in the top 10. Atlanta picks at 8. I think Atlanta is going to take a quarterback either first or second. Seattle's sitting at 9. So maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers want to get up there and get their quarterback, and I still think it's Malik Willis.
The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers actually traded up in a draft, I believe, was 2003. They moved up 13 spots and drafted Troy Polamalu. It worked out for them.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I would say.
I follow their game plan pretty much.
Their game plan is great. It's all defense.
Remember
defense.
Kevin Colbert, their GM, was here until he got kicked out of here.
Right.
And then he goes there and spends 20 awesome years with the Steelers. He's retiring this year after the
like
draft.
A Detroit love story.
That's the way it always goes, man.
You know, in the last 24 hours specifically, hasn't there felt like this massive shift back towards Kayvon Thibodeau? I mean, I don't think he's out of the mix at 1 yet.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think it is an absolute possibility that the Jacksonville Jaguars take an offensive lineman or take Trayvon Walker, and the Lions sit there in 2. We've talked about this all week. How would you feel if they passed on Aiden Hutchinson? I think they just might pass on Aiden Hutchinson in favor of Thibodeau. They just might pass on Aiden Hutchinson in favor of Thibodeau. So many people high on this guy now. His appearance on NFL Network, which we'll show you in the next segment, yesterday. He is very confident. He believes he's the best player in this draft. And about 6 months ago when we did this, he was the best player in this draft. It was kind of a, it was the Kayvon Thibodeau sweepstakes when we were talking about this during the season. And I saw an NFL Charles Davis, our good friend who joined us a couple of weeks ago, his mock draft just now on NFL Network, Kayvon Thibodeau going 7. I mean, nobody knows nothing.
No, how about Chris Sims? He's got him out.
Chris Sims is my favorite person. Knows a little bit of what he's talking about. But with that being said, you look at Kayvon Thibodeau. We showed you, if you're watching right now, we showed you some highlights right now. Shout out to my man Al May. You see how fast he is. You see how quick he is off the ball. You see how electric the first step is. You see him blocking punts. You see him getting under the offensive tackle's arms, the dip and rip, the bend. He has that bend. He has flexibility of the hips. He can move side to side. Those are the best things about him. That first step off the ball, it is amazing. That's why I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I want to talk a little bit about Aiden Hutchinson. I want to talk a little bit about Aiden Hutchinson. Put a bow on that before the draft starts. Should I do it now, or should we wait till the next segment?
No, we could keep going here, Bray, for a little bit. Do you think there's a possibility he falls a little bit?
I think there's a possibility that he may fall out of the top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5. I think he may. And I said this the other day. Final Destinations. I think there is a chance that he could fall out of that top 5. I got to pull the list up again. You look at Jacksonville. If Jacksonville doesn't take him and Detroit doesn't, now you're sitting in a position with the Houston Texans where Houston Texans are going offensive lineman. And probably going to be Charles Cross going at number 3. The Jets want a wide receiver. Jets want a DB. Now they have other needs, but they drafted Mekhi Becton 2 years ago. They're not going to go offensive lineman.
He might not play again.
He may not play again. I did see that, but you're right. But they're looking Sauce Gardner. They're looking Drake London, Garrett Wilson. They're looking at one of those. That's the 4th pick. Now the New York Giants are on the clock. Now they're on the clock twice, 5 and 7. They have needs. Offensive lineman needs to be number 1. They take an offensive lineman at 5. That easily puts Aiden Hutchinson still in the draft at 6. I think what people are starting to go back to with Aiden Hutchinson is when you watch the film. He had 14 sacks, great season, broke the record in Michigan, became the guy later on in the year. 8.5 of those sacks were in 3 games. One of those games was Penn State. Penn State's offensive line was ranked 118th last year. Michigan State's offensive line was one of those two. They were ranked 90th last year. Those are two awful offensive line where you get all your sacks in. You go back to the Georgia game. Where was he to be found? Like, where was he to be found? I understand you throw out the worst game, you throw out the best game. The best game was the Ohio State game, which he had a man-child type game. You know why he had a man-child type game? The elephant in the room. But nobody talks about it anymore because he got injured at Pro Day. David Ojabo was also on the field. They shaded more to David Ojabo's side, more one-on-ones for Aiden Hutchinson. He's not even the fastest defensive lineman off the ball on his particular team.
If you're going to do that, though, about Aiden Hutchinson, you got to do it about Trayvon Walker, too. I mean, the whole defense is full of first-round picks.
Right.
You know, why does Nakobe Dean get to run free as
because
much
of the
as
guys
he does?
up front. I understand
no
that.
doubt about that. So I think picking and choosing, you know.
It's not picking and choosing because those players showed up in the moments that they needed to show up in. Aiden Hutchinson played against Georgia. I didn't even know he was on the field.
No doubt about it.
And the guy that mauled him, the infamous clip that they show of him getting mauled, oh, by the way, that guy's a freshman. That guy's a freshman. So it's cause for concern when you're telling me at number 2, I'm a drafted guy that in the biggest game of his life disappeared. Like, and I get it. You can have a bad game, but I got to see a play or 2 or 3 to remind me that you were runner-up in the Heisman Trophy, to remind me that you just broke the all-time record at one of the most prestigious universities in football history in Michigan. I didn't see one play that reminded me of that.
So here's the detriment when you do a conversation like this, because, you know, we always talk about, well, the only reason Lions fans want Aiden Hutchinson is because they see him at Michigan. And it's because we see him every week that you can critique him like this. If you sat there and watched every single play of an Oregon game, you would probably have moments where you would say the same thing about Kayvon Thibodeau. Where was he in X game? Where was he versus, you know, Utah or whoever? You know, I mean, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the argument.
I definitely understand that, and that's why I was more so saying that's what people have cause for concern in terms of some of the scouts. Biggest moment, we don't see the guy. He's played basically 3 games. He had amazing stats. Those are the majority of stats. He played on the opposite side. Why did Ohio State's offensive line shift to Ojabo and not Aiden Hutchinson? These are the types of concerns that you want to have. He's stiff, his side to side. I saw C.J. Stroud outrun one of his angles in the Ohio State game. C.J. Stroud's not a burner quarterback. He's not a Lamar Jackson-esque type quarterback, but he beat the angle on Aiden Hutchinson. I'm telling you, even when you watch that snapshot just now of Kayvon Thibodeau, you see the vitality of freakish ability in terms of bend, dip, rip, speed, power, first step.
You're going to hear more on Aiden Hutchinson. Plus, Kayvon Thibodeau thinks he should be the #1 pick in the draft. You'll hear from him. Brad Holmes says, you better have your top 10 picks ready because you never know what's going to happen in this draft, and maybe the Lions get back up into the top 15 or so. We are going to have all that and more, but first, a message from SMA.
For over a decade, SMA has been leveraging notables and other NFL-type athletes and etc. against the issues of mental health and substance use disorder. Let me find the rest of that. Sports Marketing Agency is here to help you against all these needs, whether it's mental health, whether it is, substance abuse. They're here. Their podcast, This is the F Word. The F Word is for fentanyl, has started, and they're just highlighting some of these. They're labeling out these things. They're trying to help you, trying to be here for you, trying to provide destigmatization to mental health. Got to get on board. TheSportsMA.com is how you can find out more information on that. TheSportsMA.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
NFL Draft Talk. You are locked into Woodward Sports Network, Ermanni and Edwards. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Tell a friend about us as well. We'd certainly appreciate that. Guys, I want you to hear from Brad Holmes just talking about, this draft process and how you have to be ready in that quote-unquote war room.
Well, actually, it hasn't been a whole lot, since the last time that we spoke down at the annual meetings. Actually had a few dialogues before then, but not a whole lot. And it's not just narrowing down to your top two. You better have your top 5. You better have your top 10 in place, because you just don't know whatever's going to happen each day. But we do have it narrowed down, and we feel confident where we're at with how we have it pared down, and we'll just let the process unfold.
And I do feel good about who's in charge of the Detroit Lions right now. We had the story the other day. You've said what happened in Cleveland when you were drafted. The owner wanted you, the coach and the GM did not.
Right.
There's reports that Shad Khan in Jacksonville wants one player, the general manager there wants another player, and the head coach wants a different player. That, to me, reeks of a dysfunctional organization, and I don't feel like that's the case here in Detroit. And I think, to get there alone is a major step forward for this draft last year and this year.
100%. I definitely have confidence in Brad Holmes as well as Dan Campbell. They are on the same page. They are in cohesion. And you saw it during the year. Their players that they picked, the players that rolled for them, the players that became Lions towards the end of the year, they became good picks. They played out well. Look how high Amon-Ra St. Brown graded. Look how high Penei Sewell graded, and others. So that bodes well. That's why I think they're in capable hands. I know who I want to draft. But like you said, you made an eloquent point the other day. You said, you know what, whoever they draft, I'm going to have to trust them because they've given me no reason not to thus far. Going in that Jacksonville situation, that is a cluster F if I've ever seen one. You know what's going to happen in a situation like that? The billionaire is going to look at the GM. He's going to look at the coach. He's going to look at the president. And when those guys aren't on the same page, he's going to debo the pick because he's the owner. He's the owner. He doesn't like what you guys are doing. You guys can't get on the same page. Now, the owner, who doesn't know nearly as much as the GM, as the president, as the coach, he's going to draft his guy, and his guy is not going to be the right guy.
They're still ahead of us, though, because they have their franchise quarterback. All right? And they got him on the second year. Last year, you could throw out. He had Urban Meyer as his head coach. It was a disaster last year. I'm surprised the kid got out of there alive. So now you draft, you put an offensive lineman. They signed their guy today to a multi-year deal. Remember they franchised them?
Yep.
Well, today they signed them. So they got that. So we'll see what they're going to do. But at least they have their quarterback. That's all I got to say.
And Maz, you were making the point too, and kind of reiterated what Braylon and I said earlier before the show started. Who are they going to pick? Who are the Lions going to pick? I think we're all at the spot right now, all 3 of us in this room. Whoever they pick, I think we'll be okay with.
Yeah, we will. No matter what they do, if they're going to shore up their defense.
Offensive lineman, and Kyle Hamilton.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. I was
I do not want Kyle Hamilton here.
I love Sauce Gardner, man. That's all I got to say.
And once again, Notre Dame fans, not that we care what you think. We're not dissing Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton was a really good football player for his 3 years. His freshman year, was arguably his best season. But he's stiff. He's slow. He's 6'3". That's not a place where I want my safety. That's not the size, and those aren't the measurables that I want on my starting safety in my secondary. That's the only reason why we go there. Offensive lineman, the offensive line for the Detroit Lions is one of the top 5 best in the NFL when they're all healthy, so you don't need one.
Guys, Kayvon Thibodeau was on with the NFL Network last night. He's a very confident, bright young man, and I think that came out in the interview last night. Here's a clip of that.
GM, I'm going number 1. It's a no-brainer, but again, I don't call the shots. So for me, now I'm at peace and I'm just waiting. I'm excited. I've been thinking about it. I put on my analyst hat and I'm just trying to see how this is going to shake out. I'm excited. People are asking me, and they're like, do you know where you're going to go? Do you know where you're going to go? And I have no clue, and it's 2 days out, a day out, and I'm pretty sure no one knows where anybody will go.
And that's a really good point, too. Braylon, you mentioned you were in the same situation, really. Thought you could have gone to Miami, could have gone to Chicago, didn't think you were going to Cleveland, could have gone number 1, had no idea. I think this is a situation, and again, what do you put into mock drafts? We have no idea, but I've seen Thibodeau anywhere from number 1 to number 13. That's a lot of different landing spots for him.
I think what you're seeing out of Thibodeau is two things. One, exactly that. He doesn't know where he's going to go. He doesn't know where. He's seen himself at 13. He's seen himself at 15. For a whole season, he saw himself at number 1. Now he's starting to see himself at number 1 again. So you're starting to see a little part of that is his personality, which is a big one. He has a big personality, but that's fine. It's 2022. It's social media. Every kid now has a big personality, a big alter ego. You're just seeing his on full display. He's confident. I understand that. But he's also nervous. Part of that is nervousness. I recognize those nerves. I recognize them well. I was very confident that I was going in the top 4. I was very confident. I thought I was going to the Dolphins at 2. I didn't know anything about Cleveland at 3, but I knew I had a really good relationship with the Bears at 4. So I thought I was going to 4. But I didn't know. When you get to the draft, when you actually get there, when you're actually around the other guys, when you're feeling the energy, when it's the day before and now you're watching more ESPN and more Fox and more outlets like Woodward Sports Networks, Barstool Sports, everything is getting into your head. So now he's playing the game. He's psyching himself out. Now he jumps on the stage. He's showing you the personality. He's having fun. Hey, I think I should be number 1 overall. Because he should be, or he could be. But I think it's a little bit nerves. But also, he doesn't know where he's going to go. And he has a big personality.
I wish they asked him about the Lions and the word on the street that Dan Campbell didn't like his personality. You know, the Lions are always an afterthought on these shows anyway, except to us. That's our team. But we know that. The Lions are on the clock. What do? They go to a commercial usually.
Except 09.
You know what I mean?
09.
It's just, it sucks. I mean, because that was the question. That would have been good because the Lions are sitting there at number 2, and the word on the street is the Lions don't like him. But in reality, supposedly they love him, and it's a smokescreen. Who the hell knows?
Mel Kiper came out with his final big board, and it's not a mock draft situation. It's just best players, one after the other. And I got a kick out of it because Aiden Hutchinson was number 1.
Right.
And something about this, just in the last 24 hours, I feel like Hutchinson is this year's Mac Jones or this year's Aaron Rodgers. Somebody that, because last year Mac Jones could have been number 3.
Brady Quinn.
He
slipped too, yeah.
Mac Jones could have been number 3 to San Francisco.
Yep.
Instead, he has to wait to 15. Aaron Rodgers could have gone number 1 to San Francisco. Instead, he goes 24 to Green Bay.
Yep.
So, I don't think Hutchinson would fall to 15 or 24, but he does feel like he has been for the last 2-3 months the solid number 1 overall pick to Jacksonville, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him go 7, 8, 9.
I think he's 3 to Texans. Remember they had him in a few months ago? We played
Texans
we played the audio. I know
spot.
they need an offensive lineman. I'm telling you, I don't think he gets past Houston.
And maybe
if the
not.
Lions pass on him.
And maybe not. But Bray, one of the reasons why Houston has an offensive lineman locked into their spot right now in so many spaces is because they don't believe that Hutchinson will get past 2. Maybe I don't know that for fact, but maybe that's just a possibility.
Yeah, remember Hutchinson was in Houston. Remember he did the interview right before we talked about this. Was way back in late January.
When he won the award.
Yeah, exactly. When he won the award, we talked about it a little bit, and they had a chance to sit down and talk to him there, and to have that opportunity to talk to him and still not have him in the 3 spot or not make mention of him is why I don't think he's going to Houston, at least not at 3. I think when you start looking at this, you lock into that number 2 pick, and I understand you're looking at this draft. This draft is full of crapshoots. Mm-hmm. Everybody has question marks. Everybody has pros and cons. I just think as people are starting to look more and more into the Aiden Hutchinson situation, there's no potential for superstar talent.
Right.
Is what they're thinking, is what they're seeing, is what they're starting to tell themselves. At 2, you draft the guy at 2, man, this guy's got to come in and change your franchise. This guy's got to come in 16 sacks. This guy's got to be Myles Garrett, 18 sacks. This guy's got to be 19 sacks. They don't see that out of Aiden Hutchinson. They see 9 sacks. They see 10 sacks, and that's not number 2 overall pick.
NFL draft guru Scott Bischoff going to join us top of the hour number 2 for the entire hour. So we'll do that in about 30 minutes from now. Also, I think Jeff Okuda's ears were ringing yesterday. We were talking about him. He went to IG to share his comeback story, and we'll get to all that next. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
That's right, and Hamtramck and your great host, Chris and Noni Hutt, the Foaling Warehouse. Couple ways to play that football bowling game. It's a great game. Get your foal on. You can play it $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 of your closest friends. 2 hours, $120. Bring your own food in, have it delivered. Plenty to drink there, over 100 beers, and plenty of full bars. So get your drink on, get your foal on. Get down to the Foaling Warehouse. Check it out at foalingwarehouse.com.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope, a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other diehard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adam, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddie, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for draft day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
Time to get in shape. The sun is trying to come out, and guess what? When it does, you want to be in shape. The best way to do it is go down to Planet Fitness. Get yourself a $10 membership. In fact, I'll do you one better. If you go in person, $0 down for the first month.
Down?
I'm trying to tell you, buddy, the big zero, zilch, zip, nada. Your fitness is essential to them, or maybe, you know what, you sign up for the black card, $22.99. Access to over 2,000 locations, aqua hydro massage chairs, and then also bring a guest every time you want to go free of charge. Planet Fitness, sign up now in person or online, planetfitness.com.
You know, the NFL draft just might be the best marketing event in history.
It's definitely the most exhausting.
Because we have sat here without the benefit of watching any games in the last 4 months, and we have changed our opinions, along with everybody else, on which player you want, who you think is the best player, who you think is the best fit. The easiest track to get to the Super Bowl is by picking X position.
Yeah.
You got to get a quarterback. You got to get Willis. Go draft a wide receiver early now because wide receiver is the second highest paid position. Give me Hutchinson. Give me Tibbs. What about Trayvon Walker? Hey, I like Sauce Gardner too. Derek Stingley Jr. might be the best player in this draft. What about Jordan Davis? Remember how dominant he is? How's he going to go in the teens? Should they trade up, trade down? Where are they going? The marketing of this event is second to none. Heaven forbid Nakobe Dean was in the teens. Now he's out of the first
32.
round.
We can get him. Yeah, no, it's
Come
one of
on.
those. And then in our position, myself, you, Maz, what we've been trying to do now is we keep changing our picks because I think the first pick you have is, what does the city of Detroit need? Like, what does the fans in Detroit need? Like, what do the Lions need?
We need Malik.
Exactly. Then it's, well, what do I think they should take? Who do I think should take? Well, then it's, I'll let them persuade my opinions a little bit. Well, maybe I'll come on this side. Well, me and Ermanni have this thing. Well, you know what? Ermanni's got me thinking about some things. Or, you know what? Let me get sick for a week and watch film. Don't want him anymore. Now let me come back with this. It's just a bunch of different thoughts about how to draft and prepare. And for what reason?
I got a dumb question for you, Bray.
No such thing.
What weight do you feel intangibles carry? And by that, I mean, you look at Malik Willis, okay?
Right.
All the talk about him being a great guy, a great teammate, a player that players want to rally around. So you've got that aspect of it in terms of intangibles for a guy like Malik Willis. Aiden Hutchinson, what a story. born and raised here, Plymouth, Michigan, University of Michigan,
Comes
legacy.
back for his last year, wants to do it all.
Heisman Trophy finalist.
Tells Jim Harbaugh to yell at him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beat Ohio State in the snow.
Destroyed
what a story.
him.
The intangibles there. Should that and does that play a factor in success at the next level?
Sometimes it does. Yeah, I mean, like, you have a high motor, like for Aiden Hutchinson, you have a high motor. He's a guy that the coach can coach. Like, that's what you want to do. You look at how Bill Belichick talked to Tom Brady. He was allowed to talk to Tom Brady because Tom Brady got it. Same thing with Aiden Hutchinson. He told Jim Harbaugh coming into the season, I want you to ride me. I want you, hey, whatever you need to do in front of the team. I want this team to be the best team. I want to be a catalyst on that team. You don't think players will see that and gravitate towards a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, want to be there? That's why I'm saying the lower in the draft he go will help. Where it really helps and really matters to someone being nice, like Malik Willis, or he's a nice guy, is if you have a situation where you have Peyton Manning and then you have Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Those guys were going neck and neck leading up to the draft. It was Leaf, it was Peyton. It was Peyton, it was Leaf. If you would have told me back then, like, let's say, because Ryan Leaf had the arm. He had the arm strength. He had the mental of it. He had the mental in college.
At that point.
Exactly. He had the mental at that time at Washington State with the Cougars. You saw it in the game. Like, they lost to Michigan, but he still was phenomenal, was down to receivers. If you told me that he had what Malik Willis has intangibly wise, he's a coach's dream. He can be coached. He just wants to be on a team. Like, he's an unselfish guy. He's a nice guy. He's a happy guy. If you saw him as that, well, now it matters because now you're picking at straws. You're like, who do I take? Is it him or is it him? That can give you a slight edge. But when you're talking about a guy that could go 2 or 20 or out of the second round, I don't think the intangibles matter. I think it's just, can he really be what I think he wanted? Can he be what I need him to be?
At that point, you throw him out the window
pretty
when you're
much.
talking about that. Maz, I think Jeff Okudah's ears were ringing yesterday because, we said some things about him. I believe adding Jeff Okudah to the 2022 Detroit Lions is almost like having a free draft pick this year, because I do think he's going to come back and be a really good player for this team. What leads me to believe that? I think the guy has a motor. I think the guy is a really good guy, and I think you see the work that you put in. Again, when you're humbled, when you're labeled bust, nobody wants that. He's out there working, and he's not a bust because he sucks. He's a bust because he got hurt, and he's doing everything in his power to get healthy so that he can contribute. He goes to IG. Let me put it up for you. The comeback is always greater than the setback. Yeah. This tells me, and should tell everything about this kid to all Lions fans, that he is ready and doing everything he can to come back. The comeback is always greater than the setback. Adversity. When I was drafted last year, I couldn't have imagined all the challenges I would see in my first 2 seasons. Truthfully, dealing with injuries has been very difficult for me to cope with, but I've managed to keep the faith in God's plan. Everything I've been through in my life has prepared me for these obstacles. My middle name is Chidera, which I hope I'm saying that correctly, and I apologize if I am not. Which Shadera,
yeah.
Which in Igbo translates to what God has destined for you can't be changed. These days, I've found some peace in knowing that not just the shitty days, and these are his words, are inevitable, but the great ones are too. Thank you to my family, friends, and all the fans for your support. On the tough days, the love you send my way keeps me going. This is a player that wants to prove something, guys. And I think it's going to be a very good thing for this football team next year.
By the way, Igbo is Nigerian. It's the dialect of Nigeria.
Thank you for that, Brad.
No, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Just for the people out there as well. This is amazing stuff. This is what you want to see, Dan Campbell. This is what you want to see, Brad Holmes. Listen, Jeff Okudah played at Ohio State. Like, Ohio State does it at the highest level. You look at the talent that comes out of there. I mean, just look at what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave going in that top 10.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba last year. You look at the DBs that they've had come out. The highest paid DB in the game right now was Jeff Okudah was on the team with him. Right. Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward's the highest paid DB in the game right now. What school did he go to? So we know he comes from a good pedigree. We know he was with the wrong regime, the wrong coach when he first got here. I'm telling you, when you get injured, I had never been injured. Jeff Okudah had never been injured. when you get injured, like first time I got injured, tore my ACL my rookie year with the Cleveland Browns, it changes your mental. Having to work through that process, having to doubt yourself, am I going to be back? Like, am I going to be the same again? Am I going to be a bust? That word goes through your mind. I'm third pick overall. He's third pick overall. You're wondering, am I going to be back? I'm playing with the Cleveland Browns. So now you're challenging yourself every day. And finally, when you get to that point, well, like he's telling you, my middle name is this. He's trying to tell you, I have been doing this. I now believe in myself. I never lost faith in God. He's going to be a problem this year. He's going to be really good. And to your point, you said this a while ago. This is a story that you were waiting to watch during Hard Knocks. Well, damn it, I'm waiting to watch it too, because I think Jeffrey Okudah is going to be good, especially with Aaron Glenn and what they started last year. He can jump on that.
ACL ain't an Achilles, though.
This is true. This is true.
I don't know anything about the Achilles, except I know it takes like a year to come back, right?
Well, it does, but look at what you see in these younger guys. Look at Cam Akers. Cam Akers is a guy that tore his Achilles for the Los Angeles.
He did do was it Achilles?
This was Achilles.
Oh.
Tore his Achilles for Los Angeles Rams. Same year he tore before the season started. Missed a whole year. Came back in the playoffs. He looked fast.
Yeah,
he looked explosive. They didn't give him the ball like I thought they should have, but he looked fast. You look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's an older guy. Tears his Achilles.
Okay.
Guess what happens? He comes back, and what is everybody calling him, with the exception of this past series, the greatest player on the planet. So you can't come back from Achilles, especially young guys. Like, he's still a young dude. It's the mental. It's if you want it. And if I'm reading that, like Ryan just read it so eloquently, he wants it.
There is a team that won't have a pick in the NFL draft on Thursday night, but did they already win the draft?
Yes.
We'll have that
They won
for
something,
you.
I'd say that.
And next, but first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. But you've got to make a plan. Les Stanford has allocation coming in for lease and purchase of new vehicles. But can I tell you that Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles on it. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
We'll be right back.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Catch us on Twitter as well. You can, the guys in the back do a really nice job of clipping different segments, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this show and putting it on Twitter. So we invite you to do that.
Hey, how'd your turkey burgers come out?
Terrible.
They just fall apart on the grill, don't they?
Terrible. No, they were all right.
Yeah.
This is like a brick.
My wife gives me these. You grill them, 3/4 of them stay on the grill for me.
Miserable.
I'll tell you guys like this. When this weather finally breaks, I'm going to have you guys over. I'm going to have all you guys over. You two, as well as Fletch, have you guys over. I'm going to show you how to barbecue.
Oh.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you how to barbecue. Man. I got you guys covered.
I'm in on
I had to learn how to barbecue to learn how to cook. So
okay.
I did it backwards, but I'm pretty good.
I liked your video last night, though.
Oh, did you like it?
I did.
It's funny because
I tried one last night, but I failed.
It's so funny because we're doing these videos now. Full, transparency I think is always good. Like, a couple of times a week, we'll let you know what we're doing or whatever the case may be. And I think there is a little bit of a competition amongst us who can get the most views on their video. I almost turtled in my less than 1,000 views on that video. I'm like,
I know.
What is? I mean, that's embarrassing. I was embarrassed by the lack of views on that thing. I was embarrassed. So
you shouldn't be. You looked good.
I mean,
and I thought you did a nice job.
I mean, it's all forced.
I thought you did a great job.
I'm forcing videos now.
Yeah, I agree.
Forcing videos. I had like
Almost
900 views on it. I'm
great.
like, what am I doing?
I gave you a like.
Thank you.
But I
woke
did
up
actually
out of-
like it.
I almost like woke up out of my sleep. Did I do a video?
Right.
I forgot to do a video.
Fall asleep on this desk, get 5,000 views. Do a grill a turkey burger, you get 900 views.
Tell us what you want to see on videos, please.
I posted a video and I thought it was pretty good. It was on 420 actually. I think was I on my way to work? Or was I on my way
that
home?
was good.
I think
I was gone then.
Yeah,
I was
I
gone, but I saw the photo.
Yeah, I think I posted. It was basically, what are you guys into? It's 420. You guys into sativa? Is it indicas? And all I got comment wise was like, why are you recording video and driving? I was like, well, I mean, I was going like 2 miles per hour in my subdivision, but okay, my bad.
Right, exactly. Nice hat, by the way.
Excuse
Speaking
me.
of weed,
I know,
give it a look.
There's always
JRS.
Yeah, very
Hey,
good.
the social media
We
police are
appreciate
always
their
out
support.
Yeah, and you just never know what's gonna hit. Like sometimes things hit, and you're like, how the hell did that
Right.
hit?
there. Like me walking to my car cursing out Michigan weather.
That was
It's
classic.
But that was natural.
That was natural.
Yeah.
And that was going on for a long time before I actually pulled that phone out
Thank
to
God
record
you
it
thought
too.
to put
Oh my
at the
God,
end.
it was just so great. I had to share it with people.
You missed so many F-bombs back in the in the early part of the walk.
Yeah, let us know if you're on the YouTube chat. Let us know what kind of videos you want us to post from
No
now
porn.
on these
No
nighttime
nudes.
No
nighttime
porn.
videos. Yeah, no nudes, please. And if while you're at it, if you're on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that like button for us. That would greatly help us. So thank you for that in advance. Braylon,
What? I just want to say one last thing.
Sure.
To wrap up the Jeff Okudah talk, because I know you're high on him, and I'm starting to come around, starting to be high on him. I want him to do well. I want him to succeed, especially under this regime. Sometimes you can get linked to something else, and it has no bearing on you. And what Jeff Okudah is getting linked to is Eli Apple. Eli Apple was a guy. New York Giants drafted him 4th overall or 5th overall, man. Was it 5th or 4th?
I forget. Top 5.
It was 4 or 5. Drafted him 4th, 5th overall, and then he's just not good. He doesn't work out for them. They berate him. That's one of the worst places to not live up to a high draft pick is New York.
And then his mother got all
Then
involved.
his mother got involved, and then Page 6 got
No
involved.
bueno.
They made comment. It was like, how his last name is Apple. It was supposed to be a great story. He's in New York.
Yeah.
He's in the Big Apple. So Page 6 clown. That messed up his mental. He's now a bad corner. What school did he go to? Ohio State.
He's still playing, though.
No, he's
in
ish.
Cincy, right?
He's still making money.
He's in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know how good he's playing.
Came to a Super Bowl.
And then he gave up 2 Super Bowl winning touchdowns.
They lost the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying that. I'm more so saying that's who Okudah got hitched to because he's a top 3 pick, and then he's a whole state guy. He's DB. They're similar body frames. You can't link Okudah to Eli Apple.
And another thing you said about Okudah, another thing that he's linked to is that number to the left of his name.
Yeah.
Again, that 3.
It's serious.
The number 3 overall pick in the draft. And I almost feel like whoever gets taken at 2 is going to have really a high expectation that I'm not sure any one of these players has the capability of reaching the potential. The Lions put this up. Alex, the Lions number 2 selections all time, okay? Look at this.
Last 20 years.
Last 20 years. Ndamukong Suh, Calvin Johnson, and Charles Rogers. And don't talk to me about Charles Rogers, because prior to his injuries, he was a hell of a player.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 4 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks of his season, then broke his collarbone for the second time.
And that was the end.
We have no idea how good Charles Rogers could have been if it wasn't for the injuries. No idea.
Should have went to Houston. Would have been better off.
Perhaps, yes. No doubt about that. Get away from home a little bit.
Is he the last home guy that we've taken? I mean, Mateen Cleaves to the Pistons.
I can't think of
and Charles Rogers.
Did the Pistons
here.
draft Mateen?
Yeah, they drafted number 1 draft.
11 overall.
They did. Yeah, they did. He went to Utah after that.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. I just think whoever they take it to is going to have a really high expectation, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to reach the value of who we traditionally think of as a number 2 overall player. And not only that, usually, in the past you could go, instead of Terry Fair, you could point to Randy Moss. Instead of Eric Ebron, you can point to Aaron Donald. But this year, you're going to be able to point to 10 different guys who you think should have been the pick if your guy doesn't turn out to be the best.
This is true, and everybody wants somebody else, and everybody has a reason why they want somebody else. Shout out to our boy Corey Woods out there with the DX. Appreciate you, buddy. Everybody has an idea on who they want to draft, and everybody's ready to jump on you. So you're not going to know. You're not really going to know if you guys got the right pick. Regardless of who it is, you're not going to know who you got the right pick until game one. Until game one, when he's starting and he makes that play or doesn't make those plays, so that's when you're going to
know. So there's a team in the LA Rams that do not have a pick in Thursdays. I don't think they have a first, second, third, or fourth round pick in this year's draft, if memory serves correct. Picks. They put out a great video, and if you're just doing audio only, it's going to be hard to translate. But if you're watching on YouTube or have the ability to go back and watch this, it's really, really good. And I apologize for the audio-only crowd, but we're going to play it for you. It's about 2.5, 3 minutes long. So if you are listening on delay or podcast form, feel free to forward through about the next 2.5, 3 minutes to get you through the video. But here you go. LA Rams put this out.
Everything has changed. Everyone wants what we have. We have to protect what's ours. The only question is, are you in? Suppose the phrase "quit while you're ahead" doesn't apply here. Now, why would we do that? I'll assemble the crew, make sure we have the right fit.
So as you can clearly see, the result is 23/20. Any questions?
I have one. You want to drive or should I? Oh, shit.
You remember the last time I said just trust me?
Yeah, I woke up passed out in Cabo.
No, the time before that.
We all made history.
Damn right we did. Staff, need you on the ground calling the shots. Van? Well, I need you in the van. That's all communication. AD, I need you laser focused on the one thing you do best, complex data analytics. Nick, you're on recon.
I got eyes all around.
Over 1 million people a week visit Las Vegas. Except for next week. That number doubles because of one event.
The draft.
Celine Dion.
You didn't just say Celine Dion, did you? Did you just say that?
The Rams are on the clock.
Yellow 25, you're on the move.
Find your angle and don't hesitate.
I never hesitate.
Target inbound. I see the case.
There's no room for error on this one.
I'm the only one that understands how real this is. We gotta do this now.
Les Snead and Sean McVay, they throwing caution to the wind.
Too many imposters try to do what we do. Nobody does what we do.
They know. It gotta be now.
Kill, kill, kill.
Cover's blown, they know.
Get out now.
Rams are gonna bomb this draft.
Can't do those kind of
They
things.
traded all their picks away.
We got 10 seconds left. We got this, right?
Tell me we're good.
Tony, Sean, you're gonna want to see this.
That is not McVay's strength.
Sean McVay's supposed to be boy genius.
The house always wins. We're gonna do what no one said we could.
Les, gotta go now.
The Los Angeles Rams select.
We're gonna steal the draft.
There's nothing like LA. LA, and I swear to God, I apologize, I swear to God, but I swear to somebody, I was going to talk about this anyway. We've been watching the winning season, right? What took the LA Lakers over the top besides Magic Johnson? They're in Hollywood. They played on that. The Forum Club. Jack Nicholson sitting courtside. All Dustin Hoffman. I don't know why he came up next, but the list goes on. They played on Hollywood. They sold the story, and they became the biggest thing in sports. Same thing the Rams are now doing. They're playing on Hollywood. That was box office, pun intended.
No doubt about it, gang. Hey, we're going to get back into the NFL draft in about 10 minutes from now. Scott Bischoff going to to join us for the entire hour. NFL Draft Guru, the latest news, the latest buzz he's hearing, and there is news and buzz that he is hearing. But next, I want to talk a little bit about hoops. NBA playoffs last night. Ja Morant, to me,
great game.
It was the best in-game dunk I have ever seen with my two eyes live during a game for me. Braylon, you can agree or disagree with that next. And is Imani Bates headed to Ann Arbor? Going to do a basketball segment next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. This is the bottom line. But guess what? I got a fresh beard, fresh lineup, feeling good. But we can tell you how you can feel a little bit better. Ryan Ermanni.
There you go. As you know, we broadcast this show live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in the great city of Birmingham, Michigan. Definitely an awesome place. Awesome to get off the air and get myself looking great by one of the talented stylists. I highly recommend to you getting to a Lady Jane's near you and let them treat you like a king. A precision haircut, and they are available all the time. 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee! Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today.
Hey everyone, it's coming up. It's Maz, and we're going to see you tomorrow night. It's the NFL Draft Party with Woodward Sports on our whole crew. We're going to be down at the Brass Rail, downtown Detroit, right across the street from Comerica Park. Woodward and Adams, we were there for opening day. We hope to see you. We're going to be on that first floor, and we're going to be rocking it all night from 7 o'clock till the Lions' last pick at 32. Come join us and thank our sponsors, of course, Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness. Want to thank everybody there. We cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Come and have some drinks and food with us. Great pizza at the Brass Rail. It's Woodward and Adams. Who are the Lions going to take at 2 and 32? Are they going to package some picks up and move up? Just be there. We're going to be there with you. You can hang out with us, have some fun. The whole Woodward crew will be there. Brass Rail tomorrow night, the Woodward Draft NFL Party. Thanks again to Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness. See you tomorrow night.
Is Imani Bates headed to the University of Michigan? I mean, it's hard not to have the speculation, right? I mean, there's that picture floating around, Braylon, of Juwan Howard next to, talking to Imani Bates. He was the #1 player in last year's recruiting class, committed to Michigan State, ultimately went to Memphis, and now is in the transfer portal, and he'll be moving on from Memphis this year. Where will he continue his college career? I think the speculation is Ann Arbor right now, right? Or no?
This is a no-brainer. No-brainer. Typically what happens when guys or girls, when you go to college somewhere, you go away from home and you go to a big school and you think that's going to be the one. Well, when it doesn't work, because I don't like to use the word fail, because he has not failed at all. It just didn't work. Memphis failed, if you want to be honest. They failed him, and they failed the other players on that team.
And they're going to jail.
At 100%. So it's good he's getting out of there. Typically what people do is they come home. They come closer because they don't feel like it worked out for him. And when you don't feel like things work, you want to be next to some love. His father has a school there. His mother has. So it's like you want to be close to home. My cousin went to Michigan State. Brandon Kearney, one of the best basketball players in the state at the time, went to Michigan State. It didn't work. Goes way away because he was home. Didn't work at Arizona State. What did he do?
UD.
He went to UD. My man over there came back home because his family was here, his mother was here, his brother was here. So don't think for 1 second that Imani Bates won't be playing with Michigan. And you know that Moussa Diabate left. Caleb Houston has entered the draft portal. I mean, excuse me, not the portal, but the draft. And also, guess who's coming back? The big guy in the middle. So I think it's a slam dunk that he
and
comes
then the
here.
transfer from Texas Tech, I believe, too. So you could really have
squad.
A squad play deep into the NCAA tournament. And I think for a lot of guys, I mean, the longer you play, the more eyes you have on you. So we'll see. Look, he's a kid.
Yep.
Imani Bates. He's a kid. He is. Say what you want about, the direction, the guidance that he's getting. I don't know his father. I have heard stories about his father, gearing you in one direction or the other. I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Right.
But
we've heard it. We've heard it, whether it's true or not.
Not the best advice that he's getting.
True.
So where is this going to go from here? We don't know. He's a 19-year-old kid. I think back to when I was 19.
I couldn't tie my shoes.
Dude. And I certainly couldn't live on my own.
Not to mention, man, hell no.
Forget it.
And not to mention, like you said he's young, but take it a step further. Everybody talks about mental health right now because it's a real deal. It is serious, and now we understand it. We could talk about it more and help the conversation move along. Shout out to SMA. But he's been the number 1 or number 2 player in the country his sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yep.
So just think how long he's had that mental on him that I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to ball out. Made the decision. I'm going to go down to Memphis. Now he has another year. Doesn't ball like he wants to.
Right.
Now he's like, I go from being Gatorade Player of the Year. Could have been Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years in a row. And now I have to transfer from a school. He needs to have people in his corner that he can trust that can give him good advice.
Let me get to the NBA last night. I don't know how many people were watching because the Tigers had an incredible comeback, Cave Baez, and then one of the worst meltdowns to lose a game that you will see. So that's one aspect. I was going.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was the worst.
The worst.
Gotta trust Mazawey.
It was like Bad News Bears-esque.
It was
incredible. Rudy Stein and it was Ahmed.
Seems like between that and the play against the Yankees, it's very similar to the Lions, the Vikings, and the Ravens.
So I'm watching this Memphis-Minnesota playoff game. I think these playoffs have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And we talked about it with these young stars. Who cares about LeBron James and Kevin Durant being I mean, you got these young guys like Ja Morant. This dunk last night, I don't know if we have it. Or Alex, do we have the dunk or we don't have the dunk? I didn't send the dunk. Go find the dunk. It was the best dunk I have ever seen in my life in real time in a game. Certainly a playoff game. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's a dunk that I would choose over that, okay? Golden State versus the Utah Jazz. This was the We Believe team. This was Baron Davis. This was Steven Jackson. This was
Steven Jackson
Matt Barnes.
People.
Oh my God. Baron Davis, who keep in mind had 3 knee surgeries, 2 at UCLA and 1 when he was with the Hornets. That's neither here nor there. They were an AC. They had no reason winning this series. He goes baseline on Andreas Karolinko, who at the time was one of the best defenders in the league and a 3-time All-Star. And he's 6'10", by the way.
Karolinko
takes it sideways, holds it, and bangs on Karolinko. Keep in mind, Baron Davis is 6'4". That is the best dunk I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes.
Perhaps. And then Ja at the end of the game, you knew he was going to get the ball, and you knew he was going to score. He got the ball, and he scored.
Anthony Edwards made a mistake. Anthony Edwards, in his head, he said it. I was going for the steal, and I made a mistake. That's after he hits a great three-point shot from the corner a second earlier.
Can I say this? And I tweeted it out last night. How do you allow a team to shoot the 3 to tie it up? How?
Right.
The reason why you do it is because you're young, you're inconsistent, and this has been the Minnesota Timberwolves' problem for the last 16 years, man. They're very inconsistent and they're very young. If you think about this is a scary thing about this series. Ja Morant, yes, they won. Yes, they're what, up 3-2 now?
Yes.
Memphis, yes.
Minnesota has given this series to Memphis.
They had a 17-point lead that they blew, and last night they blew a 13-point lead.
In game 2, they blew 2 leads.
Yeah.
They blew 2 leads. So it's more about, we're talking about Ja, because Ja is amazing. That dunk was by far the second best dunk I've ever seen. And it was amazing. He lifted the team up. You like the way that Clark is playing. You like the way that Desmond Bain is playing. Saw Ja give him the Most Improved Player award that he received himself. But something is going on in Memphis, because I thought Memphis was going to come here and take it to the Timberwolves. And basically the Timberwolves have given Memphis their 3 wins in this series. Something's going on. I don't like what I'm seeing from Memphis.
Beverly fouled out late.
He did.
And that cost them at the end. That
was a big deal. Guys, let me lay out the next hour for you, okay? We're going to have Scott Bischoff on with us, NFL draft guru. We're going to go through the draft, top of the draft, where the Lions are right now, the latest news that you're hearing. We'll get Scott's take on that. We'll have a conversation for a while. And then I want to take some calls. If you have a question for Scott, I'll give you the phone number now, but I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to take calls for another 15 minutes or so because I just want to get into a conversation. But the phone number, if you want to write it down, 313-552-6322. 313-552-6322. Feel free to line up and wait if you want, but I'm not going to take calls for about 15 minutes from now. Conversation with Scott Bischoff. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, this is The Bottom Line.
But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
That's right. Your vitamin D headquarters right down the street here on Woodward. 26 locations, more on the way. You got to check them out and join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals. Plus, they beat all competitors by $5. How about that? The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest hands. It's your vitamin D headquarters, chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Detroit Sports by Detroiters and for Detroiters. This is Detroit Sports Network. This is Woodward Sports.
Hour number 2 of the program, it is our pleasure to bring in the co-host of the Draft Show on Woodward Sports Network. Having a lot of fun with that. Scott Bischoff. You can follow him on Twitter at Bischoff_Scott. How you doing, big fella?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm
Thanks for having
great.
me on.
Is this like Christmas Eve for you?
Yeah. if you really wanted Christmas to be here and over. It's just I'm sure that as a player, just get the draft here and over with. But like we talked about the same kind of stuff for a while, and I'm ready to move on.
One of the things that Braylon and I were talking about is over the last 4 months there have been no games played, and we have talked ourselves in and out of about 15 different players at number 2. We've talked ourselves in and out of about 15 different players at number 1.
Yeah.
And it's just, this to me is the most unpredictable draft that I can remember. Now, I could be wrong about that, but how would you characterize this?
I think it's fair. I mean, I'm guilty of penciling many different players into Jacksonville at 1.
Yeah.
I am. To me, the Lions and at pick 2 has sort of been edge rusher or quarterback the whole time. But Jacksonville at 1 has been a super interesting saga of they really should be taking a tackle, but the Cam Robinson stuff is super fishy, and it has been all along. They offered
the
him
franchise. tag situation.
But he didn't sign it for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is giving a team a pass on injury protection, because if he gets injured on that 1-year deal, it's fully guaranteed. So not signing it was something that just was hung out there like it's suspicious. And then even today, the 3-year deal for I'm not going to say the little money they gave him, but it's not like they paid top of the market money. It still makes me wonder, but it's obvious that we should be thinking about the Jaguars taking an edge player at this point, just because they have a left tackle in Cam Robinson for 3 years. They have a right tackle, Juwan Taylor, who's in the last year of his rookie deal. They did take one in the round 2 last year. So as much as I would still take a tackle, I'm not in charge of what's happening down there. So I think it's going to be an edge at 1. And I have there's some information that's sort of pushing us that way. Good information.
Good information.
Spill it.
Care to share?
Spill it.
Care to share?
Yeah. Wait, don't tease us like that. I'm sitting here ready.
Okay, so the Lions are sitting in a position where they're drafting second, and their board looks like 1 is Trayvon Walker and 2 is Kayvon Thibodeau.
Really?
Yeah.
That's news.
So we are operating under the idea that Trayvon Walker is going first overall, and that the Lions will be taking Kayvon Thibodeau with the second pick tomorrow. And that comes from a really good place, but it also comes from another team drafting in the top 5 who is operating under the same. It comes from the Houston Texans, and they are operating under the exact same scenario that the draft starts Trayvon Walker at 1, Kayvon Thibodeau at 2. And they are taking Derek Stingley at 3.
Whoa!
Whoa.
There you go.
That's a reach. I can hear Mel Kiper.
Not at all.
I can hear Mel Kiper now from his home in Baltimore.
So Braylon and Scott, Braylon, I'm sorry to jump in here.
No, go ahead, please.
But this is big news here that we're breaking here on the Woodward Sports Network. Scott Bischoff says it's going to be Trayvon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, Derek Stingley Jr., 1, 2, 3, Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston. So that means something that Braylon had mentioned earlier today. The slide for Aiden Hutchinson. Where does that stop?
5.
5 to New York.
Yeah. You could see a scenario where maybe he goes a little further just because of positional stuff. But I think – so the Jets have made it clear that they're looking to move on from Mekhi Becton, which means tackle is absolutely. It's a mandatory need. They do have pick 4 and 10. If they allow themselves to take Hutchinson at 4, they're really stretching things at the tackle position. So I think it'll be Ike Mekwonu possibly at 4. Pick 5, the Giants have picks 5 and 7. So realistically, they could go anywhere at 5. But then there's pick 6, which is a really interesting trade down scenario candidate for Carolina. Carolina has pick 6 and then pick 137. They don't have a second or third rounder, so you could see them looking to trade out. And if Hutchinson is still on the board at pick 6, my guess is you're going to have a slew of teams trying to get up to him. So I think his floor is 5 to the Giants. And I know this is all,
Spec.
Yeah, and it's the draft, so there's nothing guaranteed. But this comes from anytime you get information from a well-placed source, you have to kind of vet it and figure out what's the manipulation happening here. Why am I being told this?
Why me?
Yeah, or what does this information mean? Where's it coming from? And it comes from a really good place, and then you hear the exact same thing from a completely different source, completely uninvolved with one another, and then it becomes, okay, this is a thing that's happening. So obviously I'm not walking it back. There are no guarantees, but that is absolutely the way I would lay out the top 3 of the draft, maybe even the top 5.
Scott, I appreciate that. Let me ask you something. Before you got on air, we were talking about the Trayvon Walker situation, just talking about him as a player in general. You're not sold that he should be a 1 or even a 2 for that matter. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
Okay, tell me why.
Because it's a projection. He is not at all the football player that that he would need to be to justify going first overall, but his upside is absolutely. He may have more upside than anybody in this class other than Malik Willis. And we've talked about him ad nauseum, so we're not going to do it again. But as far as a pass rusher goes, being 270 pounds and running the way he runs and moving, I mean, it's crazy to watch him play. But the problems is that, generally speaking, when you watch him and he gets, if a tackle stops his initial rush, there's nothing else.
Right.
There's no plan. There's no other moves. It's just it's kind of, the rep is kind of over. But then again, 270-pound guy with 35-inch arms who runs the way he runs, moves the way he moves. You can understand that a team that's being run by a guy who's drafted players based on traits before would fall in love with those traits. And just drafting on upside alone, you can understand it.
The reason why
he's nowhere near a complete player. He is a total project.
And I agree, and that's why I've still been high on who I've been high on out of Oregon. I don't have to say his name for the millionth time. The thing about Trayvon Walker that does bother me, and I echo your sentiments for the most part, he just reminds me of Vernon Golston. Remember Vernon Golston? Detroit's own, went to Cal State High School. Funny story about Vernon real quick. Remember the Jerome Bettis camp? Jerome Bettis used to do a football camp. And by the time I got old enough, I was at Michigan. I attended that camp, but as a camp counselor. So now I'm a counselor. I'm at Michigan. And I see this guy. Looks like Tarzan. He's huge. Legitimately comes up to me. How you doing, Mr. Edwards? He was like, I would love to go to Michigan. I was like, I thought you were NFL already. Who is this? And it's Vernon Golston. Tell Lloyd Carr about him. The rest of history goes to Ohio State. But played with him with the New York Jets. Same thing with him, man. Had high upside. He looked like a mutant. But he was laterally, he was stiff. Yeah. He could only run vertical. Yeah, he didn't have the moves. And when you got into him, when you got engaged with him, he didn't have anything else. Trayvon Walker reminds me of a Vernon Golston. And he went number 5 overall to the New York Jets.
And I'm sure he was a project who they expected they could develop. That's one of the things I think teams have this understanding or this misconception at times that, we can get that guy figured out. They just didn't do it right through 3 years of college. We'll get it resolved. And that's, and sometimes is a failing plan. But, with him, it's just, I don't think you're going to get a lot of production right away with what he is as a player, and it's going to take a little time. But the upside is crazy good with him.
Talking to Scott Bischoff, NFL draft guru, co-host of the Draft Show here on Woodward Sports Network. Maz?
Listen, I just went to my bookie app. Trayvon Walker is minus 300 to be selected number 1. He is a heavy favorite now. It looks like that's it.
And again, if you're just joining us, Scott Bischoff says that he's got it on pretty good intel that number 1 will be Trayvon Walker to the Jacksonville Jags. Number 2, Kayvon Thibodeau to the Detroit Lions. And 3, Derek Stingley Jr., who
talk about that
6 weeks ago I said was perhaps the best player in this draft. I love being able to say I told you, but time will tell. But nonetheless, I just want to be very clear on this, Scott, because we talked about this for the last week.
I feel like I'm in trouble right now.
No. I don't know, Scott.
It didn't start that way.
I don't disagree with you at all, actually. I want to see about what you think. Hutchinson is on the board at 2, and the Lions pass on him. The reaction to that locally will be what? Answer that after the break. But first, a message from Cintron.
I tell you what, the reaction of the summer is coming. It's gotten me excited. It's gotten me want to take and drink more Cintron because they are here for the moments. The premium bottled water as well as the revitalizer shots. This stuff is the stuff of dreams. I get up every morning to American Pineapple. Gets me going. Get it in the immune system. Get it going. Guess what? They're also partners with the Detroit Pistons as well as the Red Wings. So you know they have a championship pedigree. Drink it. Live it. Be a part of it. And it's also at Kroger's now with Cintron.
At Wing Snob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wing Snob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Matt for Big Boy, and their signature buffet is back. They just finished their seafood buffet. Now the real deal is back. The signature buffet. Treat yourself, and every weekend, this weekend and every weekend, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy restaurant. Enjoy your favorites. 2 kinds of eggs, bacon, sausage, Polish sausage, garlic mushrooms, grits, redskin potatoes, French toast, waffles, hot cakes, fresh fruit, and a whole lot more. Big Boy, the signature buffet, weekdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy.
Got NFL draft guru Scott Bischoff on Twitter at Bischoff_Scott. Alex, do we have that tweet, by the way? And if the name sounds familiar and you're a wrestling fan, the great Eric Bischoff and Scott are cousins. In fact, Scott put out a tweet earlier today that he was going to be on the show with us, and Eric Bischoff then quote tweets Scott Bischoff, "cuz knows football." How great is that?
It's a cool thing. I mean, you know, if he is super popular.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Like, you have no idea. Are you really, like, everybody thinks it's kind of like a joke to people. And when I answer, yeah, he's my cousin, everybody goes, no.
I asked you. I'm a fan. I've been a fan since the AWA. I remember he was working in HR or something, I believe. And, you know, then they bring him down and say, hey, you got a suit on, you want to do an interview, and the rest is history. So I've been a fan of Eric Bischoff. So you better have him tweet me back, okay? If he doesn't tweet me back, I'm pulling up to Wyoming or Montana.
Listen, I have no control over what he does, but I will put him in contact with. I kidnap you. He'll get a hold of you for sure.
Hey, I just got almost 3-1 odds on Kayvon Thibodeau, and I know he was way higher to go at number 2.
You're on that my bookie today. I see
I'm on my bookie.
You're making some bets.
You're getting 3-1. Scott Bischoff's telling you he's going to the Lions. That's free money.
Yeah.
Go bet it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at your own risk, by the way.
Yes, of course.
But nonetheless,
wait till 7:30 tomorrow.
I want to pick up on this. And again, if you're just joining us, tell a friend, call a friend, turn us on. We'll be here for the next 45 minutes. Scott Bischoff says Trayvon Walker's going 1 to Jacksonville. The Lions will take Kayvon Thibodeau at 2, and at number 3, Derek Stingley Jr. We've talked about this so-called slide. I don't know what else to call it for Aiden Hutchinson. But look, this has been a guy that has been rumored to be the number 1 overall pick for the better part of the last month. Within the last 4 or 5 days, that has not been the case. Not only that, are you telling me he's out of the top 3 and perhaps sliding to 5? What is it about Hutch that people are just kind of, I don't want to say souring on, because I mean, you fall to 5. It's not like it's not like you're some crappy player. You're 5th overall pick in the draft. But what is it about the slide to you?
So, I think the Hutchinson camp would tell you all along that the Giants were kind of what they were thinking where they would be. And I think the Lions have tried to play a game with the Giants to get them to trade up to 2, if that makes sense. In the end, the Hutchinson stuff can be kind of summarized this way. Is he showed up on the national draft scene the day Michigan played Ohio State. To that point, people locally knew what Hutchinson was doing, and everybody knew what the stats were. But when the national audience watches that game and they see him go off the way he goes off in that game, specifically the play, everybody knows the play, where he's asking the offensive line to come to me. And then he runs over their left tackle. It's a little bit like the Jadeveon Clowney moment where he takes off.
Devion Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes. Where he pops his helmet off in the backfield. And that is the first exposure to most national people. Their first exposure to Hutchinson was seeing that play. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And we all know how, your first impressions are. I think Hutchinson is viewed in the NFL circles a little bit lesser than media people, meaning he is, and we've talked about this pretty openly here, is that his ceiling is a little lower, but his floor is a little higher than what you would normally get in a at a 1 overall or 2 overall as a pass rusher. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. I think he's a really, really good player. I think there's a lot of things that he does extremely well. His agility is ridiculous. He ran a faster shuttle time and a 3-cone time than Kyle Hamilton did at 6'6" and 260 whatever pounds he was. I mean, his agility is ridiculous. It's just he's a power player who might have a limited ceiling in the NFL, and the players going above him are viewed as better NFL prospects with a more expansive ceiling, and that's kind of it.
I appreciate that. And I think he came on the scene in the Penn State game. I think that was the first time the fans and the people watching, the masses, really got a chance to see him 3 sacks in that game, and they wanted to end him Eric All, as you know. But the Ohio State game, to your point, that was the one. That was the one that took him over the top. That was the one that really got him in the door and also got him to New York, the Downtown Athletic Club, for the Heisman. I think what it is with Aiden Hutchinson, if this was any other draft, and then we keep going back to that, but if this is any other draft, Aiden Hutchinson's somewhere 27 to 32. I think he's 27 to 32. I think with Aiden Hutchinson in this draft, he's benefiting from a weak draft. He's benefiting from Michigan. Literally was on TV. The top 4 games were all Michigan, so they saw Aiden Hutchinson. I think with Aiden Hutchinson, he's a really good player. Like you said, he's a really good player. I think he's going to be a good pro. But I don't think he's going to be a great pro. I think what you've seen, and just what you said about the inside information that you have, they're now going after Derek Stingley Jr. with the 3rd pick in Houston. They need a lot. They need a quarterback. They need an offensive lineman. They need a rush in. But they're going after Derek Stingley Jr. You know why? Because where is the league going right now? The league is going to wide receiver quarterback play.
Yeah.
Why did Denzel Ward just get $100 million? Because he's got to go out there and check the Devontae Adams of the world, the Tariq Adams of the world. That's what Derek Stingley's going to have to do. You see him there, so you're going after him. Aiden Hutchinson is a really good player, but he's not a guy, in my opinion, that you're putting in him right now, you're inserting him, and he's going to turn your program around. He's going to turn that position around. I think he's a guy next to some other good guys that could be a really good pro.
Yeah, and I think it's totally reasonable. Yeah. It just... you mentioned it, and it just sort of clicked in my brain as you mentioned it. It's like he ends up in the Heisman Awards, right? Like the media falls in love with this kid, and he ends up in New York when he was not the best pass rusher in the country last year.
Will Anderson.
Yeah, and it's kind of not close. Yeah. Right, so there's it's. I'm not saying it's a media creation, because that's a knock, and really unfair. In terms of his game, he's a really good player. It's just I think the media really pushed him maybe more than what his play was, and all we've known for months is what the media thought of him, and now we're finding out what teams think of him. And this happens all the time.
Small thing, Ryan. We talked about this before on the show early on in the first hour. You asked me about intangibles. You asked me, can this intangible take a player over the top? Can this intangible be something that can be the difference between, hey, this player, 5 or 1? This is what you're seeing. The intangible for Aiden Hutchinson is what the media created this season. What it created. You know what? What was the first thing they told us about Aiden Hutchinson? He came back this year. He went up to Jim Harbaugh and he said, Jim, I want you to be as mean, as hard, as aggressive on me as you can be. I want to win it all. I'm coming back to win the Big Ten championship. I'm coming back to beat Ohio State. He's a great kid. He has a great smile. He's a great interview. Comes from great pedigree. He broke his father's record this season with all-time sacks at Michigan. Then he goes out. He goes to the Heisman. You know, he has they have the back and forth where he and Desmond cracks the joke on C.J. Stroud. Then he goes out there. He's wins the game against Iowa. So the media is falling in love with this guy because now is the time of guys like Kayvon Thibodeau that tell you what. Oh no, I think I'm the best player in the draft. Now is the time of the internet where everybody's running around and doing all this. He's not. He's just playing football. He's just a good kid. They love him. They love him for that. And that's how he snuck into the top 5.
Guys, let me put the phone number out. We can take some calls in the next segment if that's something you guys want to do. 313 552-6322. If you've got a question for Scott Bischoff, let us know. Give us a call, 313-552-6322. We can do that. Also want to ask Scott how many quarterbacks go in the first round, and when is that first wide receiver taken? And who is that top wide receiver in this draft? We'll do all that and more next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They want to keep you safe and give you peace of mind. Whether you're at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure that what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Right now, let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Ermanni and Edwards, we'll be right back.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope, a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other diehard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adam, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddie, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for Draft Day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Syntron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
Woodward Sports Network, Ermanni and Edwards. We've got Scott Bischoff, our NFL draft guru here at Woodward Sports, co-host of the draft show on WSN. Of course, you could follow Scott on Twitter at Bischoff_Scott. If you want to give the show a call, if you got a question for Scott, the phone number 313-552-6322. Scott, you and I have talked about Malik Willis in the past, and obviously we understand that the odds of him, I've got a better shot of winning the Powerball on Saturday night or whenever than Malik Willis being taken number 2 to the Lions, which I am not going to back down. I think Malik Willis, in the right spot, coached up, can be the most significant player taken in this draft.
I agree.
When will he go? Who will he go to?
Man,
I don't know.
Carolina at 6, Pittsburgh at 20.
Possibly somewhere between them. I don't know if that makes sense. I think Carolina would be smart to take him, but
they don't seem to be a smart franchise right now.
Yeah, and there's some interesting history between a couple of their, between Rule and the owner and the Pittsburgh program, and Kenny Pickett. Makes me wonder. Willis is, he's another guy who's sort of, there's a little helmet scouting going on with him, going to Liberty and some of the stuff. That's a really hard. It's a hard question to answer because
is he the best quarterback in the draft?
To me, yeah,
yes.
Yeah, and that's again an upside conversation. If you want a guy who's going to come in and start in year one, it's not Willis. It's not. It might be
Pickett.
It might be Pickett or Desmond Ridder, but in the end, those guys are not going to be really any different than what you already have here. So why pick those guys? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
2 questions here, Scott.
Yeah.
Pick 32 and pick 34. If you put them in the draft calculator, they come out to pick number 14 or 15. If you're the Lions and you got your top 15 guys on the board, would you trade those 2 picks to move up and get that second guy that you want, or maybe go for your quarterback?
Who's the second? If the second guy is Malik Willis, I would tell you that is a home run scenario.
I would say it as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a possibility? Where is he on the Lions board? Do you know?
I have no idea. I mean, just being honest,
they scouted the hell out of him.
They really did. They had him at the Senior
Pittsburgh
Bowl.
loves him.
Yeah.
Just don't know, man. I think that, like, I'm with Ryan. I just think that kid is going to be a great quarterback.
And I'm going to be a huge fan of his. I'm going to wherever he goes, I'm going to buy a hat. I like him. That's why.
As long as he's not going to the Patriots, I'll be fine.
His intangibles are off the charts.
Yeah.
He would fit perfectly in this city. Understanding he has, I mean, this is one of the places where they do have the structure to be able to let him sit for a year and just grow.
Now, why is Houston going to go after Stingley and not the offensive lineman or the guy that they had in a couple of months ago in Aiden Hutchinson?
Well, they have pick 13, so they can address other needs at, say, 13.
You don't think Stingley goes to 13?
No. No. He is. If you go back to look at what he looked like as a freshman, now this is 3 years ago, he looked like the best corner in college football then. And
That's what Braylon's been saying.
He's rare.
But he regressed, hasn't he?
He did, and there's some off the field with him. He was injured.
Okay.
He didn't regress so much as that he's dealt with some injuries.
I think also what happens, not to cut you off, Scott,
You're good.
it's not about regression. What it is also about, when you win the national championship as a freshman, when everybody leaves the program after your freshman year, when you're locking down, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are arguably the two best receivers in the NFL currently. Guess who was locking them down?
Honestly, watching practice.
Locking them down. Derek Stingley Jr. was. You win the national championship. Ed Ogeron gets in trouble. The school gets in trouble. You get hurt. It's not regression. It's just like, man, I just can't. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Hey, Peter King the other day said he's going to be the best player in 3 years. He'll be the best player out of this draft.
He is a transcendent quarterback if he's healthy and like focused and doing the right stuff.
So do you like the Lions taking Thibodeau over him?
Yeah. I mean, from their needs standpoint, yeah. I mean, I think
everybody
it
needs
makes
a
sense.
great corner.
Everybody does, yes.
Got Jeff Okudah. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jeff. Amaya Rarrier was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
So I would stick with those two. Get Kayvon.
But if you're telling me this guy is transcend.
Well, he doesn't come without risk, though.
Everyone comes with risks.
Yes.
That's why Micah Parsons went to the freaking Cowboys.
His risks might be a little more on the off the field side than maybe the Lions are looking to add. I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like Jim Rome here. We got a full rack of calls here. So let's go one by one. We'll go down the row. I'm Salty from the YouTube chat. On my little thing. There we go. I'm Salty. How are you, buddy? You're on Woodward Sports Network with Scott Bischoff. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing good. Scott, can you hear him?
Yeah.
Good? Okay, good. Just making
What's
sure.
up, Salty?
What's up? I just want to start by saying, everybody in the YouTube chat, hit that like button, okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Second off, I got a question here. Do you see us being safe forever, right? We need to risk, higher reward, right? Reach out, get your quarterback if you see that's the guy, and risk a little bit, right? Rather than making a safe pick, taking, an edge rusher or taking a D tackle. Do we need to risk to win? We haven't won since '57, guys.
Good question, Salty. Scott?
We've talked about it for a while. The swing for the fences here is Malik Willis, and it's something we've advocated for a while. It'd be something I would do it just because of what he could potentially become. If we look at a baseball WAR model, there is no player in the draft. Kayvon Thibodeau could be a Pro Bowl for the next 7 years, and he may not elevate this franchise as quickly and as quickly as a player like Malik Willis. He could take this franchise from kind of floundering where they are now and put them in contention. That pick alone. So yes, at some point you're going to need to bring on some risk. The risk is going to come from, all these, like Tom said, all these picks bring risk. But I can promise you next year when you're looking at the quarterback position, some of the guys that everybody just thinks or can't miss are going to be in the draft process for a year, and we're going to be knocking them. We're going to be talking about how small the Alabama quarterback is, and so
very true.
It's yes, the risk is going to come when they address the quarterback position. This year they can do it without having to give up anything, with the exception of pick 2. That's why I would do it.
Let me just ask this one question, because I keep hearing this, because I am the biggest advocate of the Detroit Lions risking something. I talked about Deebo Samuel. I talked about Bobby Wagner. I talked about the draft picks early on. Like, I've talked about them I talked about just trying to get in the conversation of Deshaun Watson. We know you're not going to get him, but I want you to get in. I just want you, so the fans start to see that you're trying. When did picking an edge rusher that could be a 7-time Pro Bowler, that could potentially get you upwards to 16 to 20 sacks a season, when did that become the easy thing to do? When did that become boring? When did that become not riskful? Like I don't understand why getting an edge rusher is the safe play. Is that what the Broncos were thinking when they got Von Miller? Or we'll just draft Von Miller, number 2 overall, this kid. Yeah, he's a safe pick. Or did they think that he could be Super Bowl MVP one day?
See, Aiden Hutchinson is the safe pick.
Thank you.
So the fact that the Lions are what we think is taking a player with some risk but more upside is them taking on some risk. But I think what the point of that is that even if Thibodeau does crush it, is he really turning you into a NFC North winner? And are you competing for championships with an average quarterback? No, you're just not.
So this was all smoke signals from the Lions.
I don't know that it was all, but
we didn't like his personality.
I don't know that I buy that any of that. I don't want to.
So that's good.
I don't want to use
playing.
Bad language, but that whole thing is absolute garbage.
What did I say? I said it smelled fishy. For them not to give you anything in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, for them not to give you anything, for them to just be great guys, just talk about it and act like they're going to give you something and do nothing. And then all of a sudden, 2.5 weeks before the draft, information get leaked. Dan Campbell doesn't like Kayvon Thibodeau. Dan Campbell would never tell you he doesn't like anybody.
Right.
That's a Dan Campbell problem if he really did say that.
Yeah.
That would spell bad things for this franchise if Dan Campbell looked at Kayvon Thibodeau and said, that's the best pass rusher in the class. I don't like him.
Yeah.
What?
He ain't saying that.
Yeah.
Braylon hit it on the head.
Yeah. Ryan, Jacob, stay right there. I'll get to you in the next. Get to you 60 seconds from now. Ryan, you'll be first up. Jacob will get to you after that. Sit tight. Ermanni and Edwards.
But before that, word from Sticker Genius.
Sticker Genius is the official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. Sticker Genius was able to put all of this beautiful wall covering all over the Woodward Sports Studio, and they did it in less than a day. If you go to stickergenius.com, you will see that they offer wall graphics, window graphics, custom stickers, and much more. If you want to see what they can do for you like they did for us, visit stickergenius.com. This is the bottom line on Woodward Sports Network. We got Ryan Ermanni, we got Braylon Edwards, we have Tom Mazawey, we have Alex Mayer, and our special guest for today, the one and only Scott Bischoff. And I, of course, am Flannel Sam. We'll be right back.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
50 formulas, and you know what time it is. They got it right. Adam and Mike, oh, man, you know what? Tomorrow, down at the Brass Rail, Gypsy Vodka will be in the building. Visitors, come on down, hang out 7:30. We will be there.
I'm going to have some
pick
of that.
1 all the way to pick 32, which is right around at 11:30. But guess what? If you're going to drink Gypsy, be safe. Drink responsibly, because this stuff is smooth. It is good. And also, they have Moscow Mule in the can now. So you don't even have to do any work. They make the drinks for you. Go to your liquor store, ask for it by name, Gypsy Vodka. Tell them I sent you. I don't know what that'll do, but just, hey, tell them I sent you. Drink responsibly, though, please.
Always. All right, we're going to go back to the phone lines now. Bring up Ryan, talking about the upcoming draft with Scott Bischoff, our WSN draft guru.
Hey, what's good?
Hey, Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing?
You.
What's going on? Y'all my favorite show, my sports show, whatever. I watch y'all every day, man.
Thanks,
appreciate that, Ryan.
My question was for Mr. Bischoff about this draft with the Lions. Everybody talk about, they want to, as far as potential, everybody want to draft Malik Willis on potential because of what they think he possibly could be. A couple of guys that, have good potential, and I've seen, their 40 number, their 40 that yard dash numbers and, athletic ability seem like off the chart, but they consider raw too, that I would like to see the Lions take a chance on more than maybe like a Malik Willis. And I would just like to know if you heard anything about maybe the Lions looking at them is the guy Christian Watson from North Dakota State. His combine numbers, they said it was up there with Calvin Johnson, like he had the best since Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about raw potential, I mean, if we can get another Calvin Johnson and then, just get a quarterback that can get it in the area, I would love to have that. And then another guy on the defensive side of the ball is Brandon Smith, the linebacker for Penn State. I mean, he's like a freak as far as his, athletic ability, but they say he's a little raw as far as making mental mistakes. But that's somebody else. And then another guy that's not really raw, but I don't think he'll be high because of position base. But I would love to see him here is Kenneth Walker III, because I don't believe that running game we have is as great as everybody here makes it out to be.
Ryan,
one of the things with Swift is he gets hurt a lot.
Ryan, hang on. You're giving us a lot to chew on there, and I certainly appreciate it. Braylon brought this up yesterday. What about Kenneth Walker?
Okay.
What about Kenneth Walker?
He's a rock star.
Yeah. Is that somebody that you look at in the second round?
Hold on. In context, Scott. In context, I basically said that's if we got Kayvon at 2, and let's say we got a Nakobe Dean or a Dax Hill at 32. So we've got the defense taken care of. You picked up, Chark. So hey, you know what? DeAndre Swift isn't the guy that you can depend on as of right now. He's a guy that didn't even start the majority of games last year. He was injured the year before that as well.
And I don't think he's a great runner, traditional runner.
Right,
I don't. I think
he
he's
runs
more
like
of
a beast, though.
He does, but he's more of a passing game, third down weapon.
Yeah.
You need Jamal Williams is a very effective runner. So the problem is that taking a running back, I remember telling this to Joik Bell last year, and I think he wanted to kill me.
Uh-oh.
And I was terrified sitting in this chair.
I won't do you like that.
The running back position has just been mitigated to the point where you can find, Craig Reynolds off the street.
What did I say yesterday?
You can find guys late. Like BYU has I can't get into the BYU stuff. I have a problem with that program. But no, just the running back position has been sort of mitigated to where you don't need to spend a round 2 pick on a running back. But Kenny Walker is a special runner. Yeah, great balance, all that stuff.
And fast.
Yeah. He does everything you want with the exception of catching the ball out of the backfield, but just because he didn't do it at Michigan State doesn't mean he can't do it. It's a little bit like the Nick Chubb conversation. Nick Chubb can catch the ball. Leonard Fournette could catch the ball.
Tom Brady taught Leonard Fournette how to catch the ball by using him more, but it's a great call. I want to say something to Ryan real quick because before we forgot and got off topic, he asked about Christian Watson.
Yes, we got to talk about him.
The thing about Christian Watson for me is I think he has tremendous upside. I know we keep using that word. You watch his combine, ridiculous, off the charts. It was great. But you know what you can't watch? His film, because it doesn't exist. One of the big things about Christian Watson that bothers me, he doesn't have a lot of film. Couple films, and then obviously the pieces that they're going to give you are highlights, so he looks good, and in the combine it goes together. A guy with not that much film, it's just tough for me to take in the first round.
Yeah, he would be a very to me, he's a reach in the first round. He reminds me a lot of Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Nice.
From what I do think that's what he is maybe a little more explosive version of that. But, you're going to get a guy who blocks based on the offense, right, at North Dakota State. But one of the issues with him, outside of being an athletic freak, he was 6'4" and 208 pounds and ran, I want to say 4.36 with crazy vertical and broad numbers.
Which is very thin, by the way.
Yeah, he's very wiry.
Yeah.
And fast. He had a great pre-draft process. The way he looked in Mobile, running against better competition, which is always great for the players from smaller schools to go to Mobile and light up really good players. And he did, and he looked great at the combine. One of the issues is drops. He drops the ball a lot. So there's a lot of I don't know that Watson is a player who steps in right away and gives you a lot as a year one player. And I think I understand it. I think he's a reach at 32 with what else you might be able to get at the position. I look more like at a Jahan Dotson, and I think
that's Maz's guy. I love Jahan.
But
he loves
dude
the Penn
catches
State guys.
everything.
We talked about it. Remember the Michigan State game in the snow?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
That was his coming out game.
Maz.
Listen, we got the top 3 picks locked, he told me. Now you got the Giants and Jets. Jets and Giants picking at 4 and 5, and then they pick later in the round. Who's the Jets taking at 4?
Is he making prop bets? Is that what's happening
That's what
here?
he's doing. That's why he's so quiet.
Aquanu at 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Offensive
Because
tackle.
I think they're moving on from
Becton.
Becton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mekhi
I do.
Becton.
I mean, maybe they like Evan Neal, but I think
their highest rated offensive tackle, whoever that is.
I hear Charles Cross to the Giants is like
a great player.
It's like a done deal. You believe that?
Okay. No, not necessarily, but maybe. No.
Best answer ever.
No.
You don't think
they
these
have
guys,
Andrew Thomas?
If Hutchinson falls to these guys, they're not going to take him?
No, I think they would take him at 5, but they have the 7th pick too.
I know.
So I think you go Hutchinson and Cross. That makes some sense. The problem is that you have Andrew Thomas playing left tackle out of Georgia. Yeah. He's been good. I don't know. Cross to me is a left tackle. So I think it's more Evan Neal at 7 with Hutchinson at 5. That's the way I would look at the twinkle in his eyes. He's thinking about
the G-men.
I think that's more of where they would go.
Listen, the Giants are probably the worst team in the NFL. Bottom 3.
Terrible organization.
Bottom 3.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback in Daniel Jones. You got your new coach, Brian Daboll from Buffalo. Hopefully, he's going to get this guy going. You got a running back that can't stay on the field in Saquon Barkley. You got a receiver, Kadarius Toney.
Yep.
They got a lot of talent.
Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard.
They got a lot of talent.
Just paid Sterling Shepard, by the way.
Why do they suck
They
so much?
suck so bad.
I don't
tell
know.
you this. You mentioned
Nobody's got those answers.
You just answered your own question on terms of who the New York Giants are going to consider in that 5 spot. I guess they are 5 and 7.
O-line.
They're going O-line first. Brian Daboll, I had him. I was in Cleveland with him before I got traded to the Jets. I watched him in Buffalo. We all watched him in Buffalo. We saw what he prides on. He prides on the passing game. He prides on the offense. That means he's going to draft a right tackle to protect Daniel Jones, because I think they still believe a little bit in Daniel Jones. They just don't believe he's had the consistency all year by the other moving parts.
Jacob has been waiting an awful
Sorry
long
about
time.
that, Jacob.
Jacob, thanks. I want to get you in here. How you doing, Jacob? Thanks for the call, buddy.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing, bud?
Well. I'm doing well. I just took my last final exam. It's going feeling pretty good.
Good. Congratulations,
How do you think you did, man? How you think you did?
I think I bought on like the low end B plus. On like the high end, I bought like a 94.
Hell yeah!
Well, shoot,
that's awesome.
Hell yeah!
If the grading system is still the same when I was in college, it sounds like you passed.
Yeah. Jacob, you got a question on the NFL draft here, bud?
Yes, sir. So my question is: so last year, the Lions struggled as far as hometown attendance, right? Wouldn't it be smart for the Lions to get one of these 2 hometown guys, not Hutchinson or Sauce Gardner? I'm just saying, if you get one of those guys, man, you'll have pretty much the whole east side of Detroit in the city.
And Jacob, let me say this about that. You know what gets people into the stadium? Winning. Period.
Points on the scoreboard.
And if they have an opportunity to do that, if they believe they could do that better with Kayvon Thibodeau than Aiden Hutchinson, that's all that matters in the end, right?
Yeah.
Sauce is a really good player too.
It's
just at 2, taking a cornerback after somebody else took one at 3 a couple years ago. It just feels a little rich, but I don't. In the end, If Holmes comes out and tells you, hey, we had a huge need at cornerback and we love this guy, I don't expect it to happen because I think it's Thibodeau. But, Sauce is a good player.
Sauce is good. I think the big thing is you legitimately essentially have a DB that you just drafted 3rd overall who's now healthy, who has a different mindset, a different outlook. You're essentially going to have a 3rd pick overall, brand new guy coming out there this year. So I guarantee you they're not worried about the secondary. They just signed Tracy Walker back, added a couple other pieces too a couple weeks ago. I don't think they're focusing much on secondary this year as we think they are. I don't think they're going to move any moves in the secondary.
I mean, safety at 32, I think, is a legit option. I really do.
Sauce and Stingley, man, huh?
Unbelievable.
And Stingley's going ahead of him.
Hey, it is what it is. Your final thoughts on the NFL draft coming up next with Scott, and also Maz's videos of the day. Busy day on the Woodward Sports Network. But first, a message from Maz's favorite website in hour number 2 of the program, MyBookie.
MyBookie.com. That's right. I've been on it the whole damn hour thanks to Scott Bischoff.
We know.
That's right. I locked in Trayvon Walker at number 1. I locked in Kayvon Thibodeau at number 2. And I locked in Derek Stingley Jr. at number 3. Great odds on MyBookie. Use the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Do it. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, I don't. 1-800-270-2117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We all know Cade should have been Rookie of the Year, but you know the saying, Detroit versus everybody.
Uh-oh, Cunningham all by himself.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang! I want to tell you about Wingsnob. Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wingsnob has the best traditional wings. Try out those signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Wings tossed to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online. Look for a location near you as well. Wingsnob.com. Wingsnob.com. We just had better wings. Wish we had some wings in the house right now.
We will tomorrow.
Wish we had a quarterback.
Man, can you imagine those lemon pepper wings right now, Ryan?
Yeah, ooh.
Oh my
Did you
God.
get your free wings yesterday?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go down to Southfield and get your free wings?
No.
You know I'm not a boneless guy.
I love boneless wings. They
Me
should
too.
call them chicken balls or something like that.
Whatever.
It shouldn't be
Chicken
boneless
balls.
wings.
I'm not eating balls.
Scott, do you have any final thoughts for us on this draft in terms of where you think the draft will turn upside down? Will it be with that number 2 pick when Hutchinson goes? Will it be number 6, 20? When the first wide receiver is taken? What is the first thing that pops into mind when I say final thought on the draft?
So, I think the draft tomorrow is going to be volatile. I say that because there are so many teams that have multiple picks. The Lions have 2 and 32. The Jets have, the Texans have 3 and 13. The Jets have 4 and 10. The Giants have 5 and 7. The Packers have 2. The Kansas City Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. It's a lot of teams with multiple picks in the first round, and then there's a lot of teams left out of the dance, right? So the quarterback position will dictate a lot of this. Where does Malik Willis go? Where does Kenny Pickett go? What happens to a player like Matt Corral? Does he fit in the first round somewhere? Receiver, I think Atlanta is with Calvin Ridley's issues and just the void that's on that roster at wide receiver. I could see a player like Jameson Williams going, and I know he's injured. I know that he's going to miss a little bit of time. He's going to miss some time, but that's a long term. It's a long-term option. Garrett Wilson, I think, is a really good player. I think he could be the pick at 8 for them. Mm-hmm. The Jets have been rumored to be in the Debo sweepstakes, but they also made overtures at Tyreek Hill. So obviously they're looking at receivers, so you could see a scenario where maybe they take one at 10. I think a natural transition in the draft is pick 6 because of what we said earlier with Carolina looking for second and third round picks, kind of, and that's a place where Pittsburgh might come up to grab a quarterback.
Scott, let me ask you this question before we let you go, and got to get to Maz's videos of the day.
I got a question, too.
He's got the dunk.
Okay, perfect. With that 8 pick, talking about the Atlanta Falcons, talk about having Calvin Ridley, but they don't have anything after that. Like you said, they have that void. They got Marcus Mariota. Wouldn't a guy... Well, I take that back. They do have tight end.
Kyle Pitts, baby.
Excuse me.
Pitts.
I would be remiss if I didn't miss him. First year, rookie year, did make the Pro Bowl last year. 1,090 yards, I do believe.
Unicorn.
Add Drake London to that squad. Drake London's a big, physical guy. Gives you that Julio Jones presence, and he's better in the red zone than Julio Jones ever was.
That is absolutely true. Julio Jones has never been a good red zone player, but I do not think Drake London is a fast or quick guy. So you're drafting him for your next quarterback because Marcus Mariota is never going to put the ball into a dangerous place. He just is not.
Yeah.
So if you're drafting Drake London, you're anticipating drafting a quarterback or replacing Marcus Mariota with a quarterback who will give him an opportunity. Drake London is a little bit like Kenny Golladay, where Kenny Golladay made a lot of money because of Matt Stafford's willingness to give him a chance. Now, Drake London, above the rim stuff, it's ridiculous to watch the stuff he does with the ball in the air. It's just he needs a quarterback to give him a chance, and I can't see Mariota doing that, but long term, it makes sense. It's fine.
I can see Green Bay getting him. Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers.
You love Green Bay.
This is squad.
I mean, Green Bay, man. I mean, let's face it. They traded Devontae Adams. They know
they won.
They're getting a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see what they do. The thing I got for you is yesterday Dan Orlovsky said Baker Mayfield will be the steal of this draft. What team do you think Baker Mayfield winds up with?
Pittsburgh. I do. I mean, I think that if Baker Mayfield were to be cut today, I think he would be a Pittsburgh Steeler tomorrow.
That's it?
Yeah. Maybe Seattle, but I think it's Pittsburgh would be a nice fit for him, especially with what they have.
You still think he's got wheels?
I think you have to make things. You have to put him in the right offense.
Okay.
I don't think he's. I mean, at this point in time, I think it's way too soon to be just. He's done. You know what I mean? Like, he played really well for Cleveland for long stretches. That team was horrific when he went there. He put him in the playoffs.
Yep. That year, he was one of the top passers in the game. Last year, he played hurt.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see where he goes.
Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, Maz, you got time for one. It is time of the day we like to play Maz's videos
of the day.
Boom.
Can I use 2?
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, being a dad and going to a ball game with my kids, I've done it before. Look at this great dad at the Cincinnati Reds game. You can play the audio as well. Check what he's doing.
Bicep soreness. Pops it up. Nice job. Wow, feeding the baby.
That guy is feeding his baby. Didn't move an inch and catches that foul ball.
He used to be a player, probably at Cincinnati Moeller.
Did you see that crowd, by the way, in Cincinnati?
How big is that kid?
That's a big ass kid. Excuse me.
Great job, Dad.
Hey, what happened? I've always wondered in these videos, because this isn't the first time you've seen like this. There was one guy standing up a couple years ago.
Yep.
Amazing catch. What happens if you miss and it hits the baby in the head?
Then you're really in
then
trouble.
Then you're going to be on the video again.
Do you take that? I wouldn't take that chance. I'm lying.
Baz, give me the jawbreaker.
I can't because I'm not allowed to use it.
Restrictions?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sucks. Give me the Mickey Redmond treasure.
All right. Mickey Redmond last night, in between periods, trying to get the camera to work at Bally Sports Detroit.
This looks bad. This looks bad.
Come on, Mick.
It looks bad.
Oh, Mick.
It looks bad.
But this is what we
No. Don't do
Mick.
it.
No, he's okay.
Don't do it.
Give the boards a
Don't
shake.
do it.
He's okay. That's the Mick.
So I called the defenseman.
Okay.
Nimble Nick.
I love that guy.
We need a stepping stool. What are we going to do?
Man,
And Big
it was touch and go.
He played a long time without a helmet. I mean, you know.
50 goal scorer way back when.
So good.
Speaking of 50 girls, I thought about you. Rest in peace last Friday, Guy LaFleur.
Yep.
I thought about you.
How
Guy
about
LaFleur.
that? Mike Bossy and Guy LaFleur in 1 week.
Guy LaFleur, exactly.
That's a horrible week.
Terrible week. Scott, thanks so much, man. Great
Anytime.
info
It's great
as
to be on
always.
with you guys.
Lions taking Thibodeau. Here we go. Bray, get us out of here.
Hey, man. Flannel Sam, you get us out of here today, buddy.
Yeah, get us out of here, Flannel Sam.
This was a great show with Scott Bischoff today. Thank you so much for joining us. It was incredible to hear all of your information, and Ryan and Braylon, you asked great questions as well as Maz.
Keep talking.
This is The Bottom Line with Ermanni and Edwards, with Tom Mazawey, with Alex Mayer and myself, and of course again our wonderful guest Scott Bishop. We hope to see all of you tomorrow night at the Brass Rail for our draft live stream. I'd like to say hi to all of you. I'm sure Ryan and Braylon would all like to meet you too. Same with Maz.
Fish will be there.
Fish will be there. Yes, you got to go meet Fish. So yes, this is.
I'll be drinking Gypsy vodka.
This is Ermanni and Edwards. This is The Bottom Line.
Maz,
We
you're
will see
driving.
you tomorrow from 2 to 4. Watch this show and then go join us at the Brass Rail again tomorrow from 2 to 4. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Ermanni and Edwards, The Bottom Line.
Oh yeah.
Line drive right field. Over the glove of Grossman. Larnach had to hold up. He's going to be held there. And the Twins have filled the bases. And now Sano goes towards second. And that forces the runner from second. And now it's thrown away. 1 run will score, and the Twins are going to win the game. Twice.